Hey everyone, this is Jason Kickline from OnSong. There's a new device on the market and we've had a number of users that were interested in using it with OnSong. So I'm going to do a really quick review here on Periscope and see how to hook it up to OnSong. So this is the Positive Grid BT4 wireless MIDI pedal board. And we're going to do this like a cooking show, but this is the box. It opens kind of like a shoebox, and inside is the Positive Grid board. It does come with batteries, which are installed in the back here. And what I can tell you is the pedal board is very heavy. It's made out of steel. Seems like it's made out of steel. Very, very heavy duty pedal. You have the traditional guitar Stompbox buttons on here. And some of the first things that I noticed about this pedal board is, first of all, that the Stompbox buttons, to me, feel a little wobbly, and they really take a lot of pressure to activate. I'm not a guitarist, so some people might like that type of feedback and shortness that you have to push it really hard to get it to function. Me, I would rather a smoother action. And then also, because it's all metal, the batteries have to be installed in the back with a screwdriver. Luckily, I have a screwdriver on myself all the time with my Swiss Army knife, so I was able to take the screws off and put the included batteries in here. Now, this is a Bluetooth LE device, which means that it's very power efficient. I don't know how long these batteries will last. My guess is as long as you turn this off when you're not using it, they're going to last a pretty long time. And that's because, you know, whether you have something like a misfit flash or an air turn PED, they last a long time even with a watch battery. So I imagine 2 AA batteries is going to last quite a long time. So you have the 4 Stompbox pedals on the front, which are configurable. Each one has an LED light to indicate if it's on or not. On the back you have the external pedals, so you can hook in an expression pedal to this device if you're wanting to use that to control things like volume or effects within Bias or JamUp. And then you have your power switch. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And here you can see we have the lights light up like that. And that's the operation of the pedal. Turn it off if you don't want it. Turn it on if you do want it on. So what we're going to do is take a look at how to configure this in on your iPad. Now, the first thing you need to do, you do want to download an app. It's called BT Pedal Editor. So that's available from Positive Grid. It's just search for BT Editor. And also take a close-up of this. You can see that the instructions are actually right here on the device. Press and hold the button for preset, and then BT Editor app is available on the App Store. So go ahead and get that app and install it, and then you launch it. And of course, the first thing we're going to see is that our device is disconnected. I'm going to make sure that my Bluetooth is on. Oh, it is on. And because I just powered on this device, I'm going to need to tap to connect it. Now, the first time that I ran this, oh, by the way, there is a quick start guide that comes in the box that tells you some of the basics of where your batteries are and what does what. I don't read directions, so I just threw that over there. But the first thing that comes up when this app launches is a screen to update the firmware of your device. So I ran that. That ran through with no problems whatsoever. And the first thing you'll see, and I've been changing this a little bit, but you'll see that you have preset B, preset C, preset D, and this first button was actually set up to preset A. Down below you can see it says Bias FX. So by default this pedal is set up to work with Bias, which is Positive Grid's app for running guitar effects. And so if you want to change that from anything other than working with Bias, you need to tap down here. Now if you tap here, it's actually going to send the MIDI signal out, as you can see. If you tap down here, this is where you set things up. And so what I would tell you to do if you are using this with OnSong is you would tap on Controls, and we'll do this with one of the other buttons as well. You're going to want to tap Midi Mode. So see, if you tap Apps, you pick which app you want to respond to the pedal. But if you want to use it straight as a MIDI device, you tap Midi Mode. And then by default, Control Change is selected, but we're going to choose Program Change instead. And then you can choose which channel is sent out. Obviously, MIDI has 16 channels. So this is set up for channel 1 by default, and then you can determine what program change you want to send. And so we're just going to send, let's say, program change 1 for that, and then tap this little check mark up here to make sure that your changes are saved. We're going to repeat that for the second pedal here. And by the way, you can see that there's also the ability to control a single tap versus a long press as well. So that's kind of interesting that you can actually get 2 uses out of each pedal. But let's go to this and switch that to Midi mode. Program change. Now the reason I'm using program change is because control changes seem to latch, and so that is the situation where when you push the button on the pedal board, it turns on that control change. When you push it again, it turns it off. We don't want that with OnSong because we're probably looking at just a momentary press. And there's ways to handle that in OnSong, but to keep it simple, I would recommend switching it to program change. So we have program change 1 set up for our first button, number 1, and program change 2 for number 2. And then when I press these on here, you can see that they are activated over there in the app. So we know that it's communicating with the app via Bluetooth. Again, you don't need to pair this device with Bluetooth on your device. You do it all within the BT Editor app. So make sure you get that. That's the way this works. Now what we're going to do is come out of here and we're going to load up OnSong. And we're going to come in here to our MIDI editor. So go into the utilities menu, editors, and then MIDI. And now what should happen is when I push a button on the positive grid, BT4, you can see over here comes in our program change. So program change 2, channel 1. We're going to push that again. And now we can decide to have that scroll down. And I want my first pedal to scroll up. And then we hit close. And now when I push the second pedal, it scrolls down. When I push the first pedal, it scrolls up. And that is really, in a nutshell, how to configure the BT4 with OnSong. So the one thing that I really like about the device is that it's heavy duty. It's very heavy. It's not going to move on you. You can run it over with a truck. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't like that you have to unscrew the battery compartment, but that's a pretty standard issue for a lot of pedals for guitar players anyway, so you probably already have a screwdriver in your kit. By the way, the app does show you the power level for your batteries. The BT Editor app does show you the power levels, so you can keep track of that. The thing that I really don't like is these buttons. They're loud, so if you're doing any kind of recording or you have a small stage, or you just don't like really stepping on the pedal, I'm not a fan of that. I like the Griffin Stompbox action a whole lot more. The air turn pedals don't have a lot of feedback as far as tactile feedback, but they're very quiet. So you really need to choose the pedal that works for you, but I think for guitar players this is going to be a great option. The other thing I do like as well is that it does have that expression pedal, and so OnSong can actually use that variable expression. You could actually hook this up to adjust your scroll position and literally just rock that expression pedal, if you have one, back and forth to determine where you're at in the song or set. So a lot of different possibilities with this. This retails for $129. It just came out, so it might be limited supply. And we're going to put it through its paces in a real life scenario, but otherwise, that's the BT4. So let us know if you have any questions, and we will try to answer you.